The phonograph, and later the gramophone, could capture complete performances. But it was to take another breakthrough in recording equipment before those performances could be changed. This monster of the 1930s was one of the first magnetic recording machines. Today, it's the musician who gets isolated on the other side of the glass-fronted booth. But back in the early 30s, it was the forerunner of the magnetic tape recorder, which had to be safely stowed away. And when you see the material on which it made its recording, you'll understand why the engineer always handled it with leather gloves. Two giant reels like this whirled through the tape recorder at a frightening 60 inches a second. This stuff. A razor-sharp band of steel. And when this band broke, as it had a habit of doing, everybody had to be well clear of the sharp edge as it scythed viciously through the air. But the necessity of forever joining the steel band together became, in the hands of the creative musician, a virtue. When just before the Second World War, German engineers demonstrated that what you can do with steel, you can also do much more conveniently with plastic tape coated with a close relation to rust. With the new tape, and nothing more than a razor blade, new areas of musical creativity became possible. The arrival of tape recorders meant even the most basic sounds could be transformed. Experimenting with music was no longer the monopoly of the imaginative musician. Even the earliest of tape recorders could manage quite happily the faithful reproduction of 3 notes twanged on the piano. It was the possibilities for unfaithful reproduction which also caused excitement. On this length of tape are those same 3 notes. If I wind this piece of tape through the machine by hand, at a speed which isn't constant and in a direction which is forever changing, those 3 twangs become a collection of quite different sounds. In fact, if we re-recorded this performance on another machine, I might end up with a sonata for 3 notes and tape recorder. And I wouldn't be the first. But let's take this creativity a stage further. Let's find the start of the last note. There it is. I'll cut the tape there. Now I can take the end note, turn it the other way round, and put it back, ready to join up. So, what have we got now? Our first 2 notes are still the right way round, producing a boing sound with a quick start and a slow finish, or what musicians call sharp attack, gentle decay. But now we've turned the last note the wrong way round. We've got the decay first. Now it's become a sound. And if I finish the joins here, it should sound something like this. Crude stuff, you're probably thinking, but to some people, the possibilities of doctoring natural sound using the new magnetic tape became an obsession. In 1958, a reluctant BBC was forced to allow a tiny group of enthusiasts to get some gear out of redundant stores and establish itself here in 2 rooms in London's Maida Vale. The Doctor Who theme, just one of thousands of signature tunes, special effects and pieces of background music created by the Radiophonics Workshop since 1958. At this time, all over Europe, it was fashionable to make music out of the most unlikely things. An old lampshade, an empty tin can. Anything that could make a sound could be doctored by the tape recorder. What have we got here? Got us a gravel. Beautiful, beautiful. Something else? Heaven knows what this is. That makes a good noise. We need a basic rhythm, don't we? Or how about something as mundane as a metronome? That should keep things going. What else could we use? One defunct alarm clock. Got to have possibilities in it somewhere. Now add all these bits together on a tape recorder. Play some of them backwards, some of them forwards, some at the wrong speed, and this is what you end up with.
Take one cash register, give its sound a similar treatment, and you have an ironic comment about Christmas spending. By playing around with tape, almost anything can become musical. How about the First Symphony for one straw? This bizarre performance was recorded to provide the background music for an Open University program about particle physics. Cutting out the gasps for air, the best bits of bubbling are selected to make a continuous loop. This loop of bubbles can now be re-recorded at various speeds. Soon there'll be enough bubble noises at different frequencies to play a tune. All these bubble frequencies are now individually transferred to a multi-track recorder before being mixed together to produce the final sound which will back the commentary voice and reinforce in musical terms the message of the program. Having carefully timed the bubble music, it can now be checked to see if it fits the pictures. Add music or effects to even the most academic animation, and it suddenly comes very much to life. Armed with a tape recorder or two, the creative soloist can turn himself into an orchestra. This first machine is recording, while a second replays that recording a few moments later for it to be re-recorded by the first recorder. Paddy Kingsland explains.
I'll show you how it works. You play a note on the guitar, and the note's repeated. And that'll go on for as long as you like. And what you have to do then is add various lines to that. And the whole thing goes on. You can gradually add more and more sounds. Now, if you get too loud, you can overload the whole system, but it's possible to get a rather big build-up.